someone start telling me how to do it.
Okay, I went over this with Miss Summers, and I kind of understand it. So, you got the line change, you got X. Okay, so I put the points at like X equals -3, 1.
That was smart. Yeah, like really smart. Like trying to figure out where we're at, you know. So that's right here, yes?
Yeah.
So that's the point.
And then I also found a point of where it goes through another.
That's at -3, 1. And then what else?
I found another point of where it goes through. Just to find the slope of that line.
Oh, you're looking for the slope of this line.
Yeah.
Oh, let's pause for a minute. Why? Like, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. I just always want to, like, I want all of you to have a very specific habit. Let's see, habit. The habit I want you to have several habits, but one of the habits I want you to have is you don't do anything unless you have a reason. Because when you start doing things just to do it, you tend to get off in the weeds, like the wrong answer. Like, gotta have a reason.
I think I know.
Go ahead.
Because when you plug in the slope for f of x
Why?
to find b of x.
Still don't know why you need to do that. But let me give you another hint. Stay with me, Maddie. Think of this for a second. Everybody, another habit. Try to make sure you're not getting mixed up between the clues versus the question. So really, you want to get to the clues, but you've got to identify the question before you can really do anything. So what's the question, Maddie?
What is b prime of -3?
Perfect. So you're trying to find b prime of -3. So here's where you shouldn't be looking at the problem. You should be, well, back up. You identify that you need to find b prime of -3. Now, without even looking at the problem, you should be able to tell me, based on the fundamental concepts you know, what comes next.
Use the chain rule
Why?
to find the derivative of b of x.
There we go. Now that's much better. Like, that's a much better start than what you did up here, because you're saying, hey, I need b prime of 3. They give me the equation for b. And I know that to find that this right here means find the formula for b prime first, then plug in a -3. So to find the formula for b prime, I must take the derivative of my formula for b. That requires the chain rule. So Maddie, what will b prime equal?
It would be b prime.
Yeah, my bad, sorry.
Wait. B prime of fx. F prime of x.
Multiplied by
Yeah.
f prime of x. Okay, pause there. I've been talking with Maddie, but anybody want to talk? I want y'all to get used to the idea that you don't need to ask questions in this room. You just need to talk. Like, you just pay attention to whether it's clicking or not clicking, and then you just talk about it. So, you want to talk about it? Maddie, now what?
Now, don't you want to figure out what f of x is?
You will, but I think it's better to think in sequence.
Oh, you put b prime of 3 equals b prime of x of 3.
There we go.
F prime of x. That's it.
Now Ellie, you asked the question, but I don't know if I'm helping or not.
Yeah, I just was lost on like how to start it.
No worries. Go on, man.
Oh, so now looking at the
Hope I was
graph-
helpful.
I was just thinking.
Oh, very
about that.
good. This is, you're good. Just making sure, Kevin.
Thanks, Mr. Chair.
See ya.
Now looking at the graph, you can go to -3 and find what the y value would be, d1.
Nicely done. Yeah, that's the moment when you need to go find f of -3. And you've done that. You figured out that f of -3 is definitely 1. We want to talk about that question. And then the next thing you're doing now makes sense.
So now, since, I don't know, I know there's a correlation between f of -3 and f prime of -3.
Tell me, Maddie, what does f prime of -3 mean?
It's the slope of that line of f
Slope of f, where?
at the point 3, -3.
Good. So I'm trying to find the slope of f at this point. What can I do to identify the slope of f at that point?
You can do y2 minus y1.
Yeah, the whole idea is to notice that f is linear.
Yeah.
So because f is linear, I can do what you were doing. You can go to some other point and say, from this point to this point, Maddie, how much did f change?
2,
Positive or negative?
positive.
Good. So the slope right here, this line, the y-coordinate is changing by 2. How much did the x-coordinate change by?
6,
So the slope of that line is?
1/3.
Yep. So that means f prime of -3 is 1/3. Good. Again, reminders to all of you. There is not a problem that looks like this on the test. Is there a problem that will require you to use the chain rule? Pretty sure. Is there a problem that will require you to understand how to read a graph, understand that some functions are linear, how to find a slope? Oh yes. So you don't memorize this problem, you memorize the ideas that we're using to solve the problem. So that's 1. So now we got g prime of 1.
So now you have to find out what g prime of 1 is. So you can go to the point 1 and then down to where it intersects with the line.
That right there is the point on G. So G of 1 is -2. We don't need that, but that's where we're looking.
Yeah.
Please.
What if you kind of want to be a slope
Of
at one, when?
slope of what?
-2.
No, sorry. Whenever you say slope, I'm going to say of what? G. So say again, what does this mean? Now you've got it.
That's finding the slope at G.
The slope of G
Slope of G
at
one.
x equals 1. So here's G. So Logan, how do I find this? That was a good trace. How do I find the slope of G at x equal 1?
Well, don't you know it's a tangent line like this, you know 0?
Oh, tangent line doesn't mean slope of 0. tangent line, all I say, everybody look here. You can memorize this. It's really simple. It's very common sense. A line is tangent to a curve, like when a line is tangent, the line and the curve share two things. They share a point and they share a slope. Doesn't mean the slope is zero. So right here, that point is on both the line and the curve. And the slope of the curve right there, which is g prime of 1, is exactly the same as the slope of that line right there. Go on, Logan.
To find the slope, wouldn't you just go from where the tangent line crosses on the bottom, right there, yeah, and then you go up 1 and over 2.
So that green slope is
1 over 2.
positive or negative.
Negative.
Make sure you get the sign right. So that's g prime of 1. Assuming I didn't make an error, and Samuel will find it for me. Good work. Well done. Question? Good work. Ellie? Question?
Wait, I have a question.
Please.
Where's the slope? Because like, shouldn't it be like 2 over 1? Oh wait, could you do rise over left? Never mind, I did it.
You're good. No worries. Just keep asking. That's the whole idea. Every time your brain says, wait a minute, I'm not sure, you just talk about it. It doesn't matter what the question is.